Descalso got strikeout number 4, and he struck him out. Swung on and missed another strikeout. Strike 3 right down the heart. Strikeout number 11. Kid is turning into something else. This ball in the air, deep center field. Going back, still going back. Gone. Tied it, back on. 3-run jack. Trevor Story. There's the big blow. This ball high, deep right field. Take a good look. You won't see it for long. Grand slam, David Dahl. 10-2 Colorado. First career slam for Dahl. Big fun at 20th and Blake last night. The Rockies 13-2 winners. They pounded out 17 hits. Made a statement in game 1 of this 4-game get-together between the Rockies and Arizona Diamondbacks. And as Cargo signs autographs, we'll take a look at the updated NL West standings. The Rockies a game and a half up on the Dodgers, and they are 3.5 up on the Arizona Diamondbacks. So tonight, the Rockies at 79-64, looking for their 80th win of the year. Will take on Arizona, a team that won 94 games a year ago. There's Antonio Senzatella making his way in. One of the qualities that he shares with Kyle Freeland and Ron Marquez, he has an inner drive and a toughness to him that, when you talk to Buddy Black, he really admires how 49 goes about his business. Now it's going to be about spinning the ball a little bit better than he has. His best secondary pitch is a changeup, and that'll need to be in play today against an Arizona lineup that has had success against him, to be honest.
They really have, and you have it right. When you think of Antonio Senzatella, you think a good fastball. What's important about Antonio is that his fastball has late sink and cut. He just does it naturally. He's not sure where it's going to go. I've been asking for the Rockies, when they're looking at his secondary pitches, what is the best secondary pitch? They're not quite sure yet. Is it the slider? Is it a curveball that's in process? Is it a changeup? What we do know is that the fastball plays. It works. As long as he keeps it down in the zone, he can keep that Diamondbacks lineup at bay.
And he uses that fastball better than 65% of the time. On the other side of the coin, Zach Greinke goes for the Arizona Diamondbacks. We don't need to explore his resume. It is quite impressive. His last outing against the Rockies may have been his best start of all this year that he has made. 8 innings, 13 strikeouts. The Rockies had only 2 hits.
Well, and even when you're looking at Zach Greinke in the last 5 starts against the Rockies, here's a number, Drew. 33 in the 3rd innings, 41 strikeouts, only 3 walks. That's remarkable. For whatever reason, the Rockies do not pick up his slider. That is something that he's been extremely efficient against the Rockies with. Changing speeds, using the big curveball, mixing and matching his fastball. He matches up extremely well against his Rockies lineup. But we also know, and we've seen this team grind at bats against Zach Greinke. If you can grind the at bats, he's not going and throwing 130 pitches. You can start getting into that bullpen, which we know it's leaking oil.
It's leaking oil. It's vulnerable right now. And Zach Greinke has been human at Coors Field, as so many pitchers are. He has an ERA over 4 here. It's also the time of year, and you remember this from playing in important games in September. I was talking to Trevor Story about this. Every at bat you grind through this time of year because so much is on the line. You don't know if the second inning turns the sway of the game, if you will.
We saw some momentum in the loss in the 1st inning yesterday, just with a bad base running play by DJ. But the Rockies were able to regain their momentum. Last night was an important victory for the Rockies, and I think tonight when we watch this team, is making sure you carry the offense forward. You want to see Senzatella establish fastball early. You want to make sure he gets his secondary pitch, whichever one it is tonight that comes to the forefront. Establish that pitch as well, and then expect your team to continue to grind these at-bats away to give yourself a victory. There's the fastball usage, 67% of the time, 94 miles an hour. It will sink, it will cut. The slider, he's been attempting to use as his best secondary pitch. Stay a little flat his last start, but he'll look to just drive that down in the zone.
Let's take a look at the lineup that he will face. Up top, it'll be John Jay. John appeared late last night. He was not in the starting lineup on Monday. Southwest batting order for Torey Luvello. Eduardo Escobar was perfect 3 for 3 last night. Peralta and Goldschmidt again 3 and 4. Pollock will bat 5th. Ketel Marte wasn't in there last night. He's in there this evening. Nick Ahmed will be at shortstop. Jeff Mathis, the personal caddy for Zach Greinke. He has caught every pitch he has thrown in 2018. And there's Luvello. The Diamondbacks, talk about their bullpen leaking oil. Their club overall has lost 8 out of 10, 12 out of 17. Here's the Red Robin defensive alignment tonight for Colorado. Cargo's had the last 2 ball games off, so he's fresh. He's back in there in right field. Charlie's next to him naturally. David Dahl with that grand slam. He's in left field after playing right field yesterday. And Ryan McMahon's going to get a start at first base. Tony Walters, you get 3 hits, you get the catch again, right?
You should be allowed to play the next day if you get 3 hits.
So we got everything set here, and we are always glad you're with us. It is September the 11th, 2018, and of course 9/11, a date this country will never, ever forget. Go back to the late stages of '01 and how much baseball meant in the beginning of the healing process. The first pitch of the evening is in there. Strike 1 on John Jay, a well-traveled outfielder. One ball, 1 strike. Jay was one of those moves by Arizona. They were aggressive way before the trade deadline. It was early June when they picked up Jay this year.
Jay was hitting the best he had in his career at that point.
Perfect night for baseball. Still quite warm. It's 87 degrees at first pitch here. At about 6:41, 6:42 p.m. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And that was real close, but called a ball, 2-2. Fieldon Colbreth is the crew chief. He's calling balls and strikes tonight. Phil Cuzzi's at first, Chris Conroy at second, and C.B. Buckner is at third. And Jay gets jammed, an easy play for DJ. Good start.
Senzatella trying to establish the fastball early. We've seen it in all locations, which is great to see. For the Win is brought to you by Pizza Ranch. When the going gets tough, the Rockies 48-37 versus teams over 500. That's the second most wins in Major League Baseball. And you see the record versus the NL West, 35-29.
So here's a good-looking hitter in Eduardo Escobar. 21 home runs last year with Minnesota. He's got 20 this year. Combined work between Minnesota and Arizona. Shows that fastball in. Here's the changeup.
So just looking at some numbers of the different secondary pitches for Senzatella. All the pitches his secondary here's hit about on average 276.
And this is softly hit to center. It's going to drop. That was Escobar last night. He's 4 for 4 in the series. I don't know if he's barreled a baseball.
I don't think so either.
So 1 out and 1 on, and here comes Peralta to the plate. The Rockies were able to keep him fairly quiet last night. 1 for 3. Herman gave up a run in the first inning, and then you talk about putting your foot down. Oh my goodness. Put his foot down, put his other foot down. Put the Diamondbacks in a full Nelson. And they said uncle, and he said no,
yeah,
that ain't gonna work.
He kept going at it. It was amazing. And just thinking back to how he was able to command 2 secondary pitches last night, curveball and a slider.
It's always a blast watching this young man throw the baseball. It's now 44 strikeouts, a club record over the last 4 games. The previous club record was 42 strikeouts by Pedro Estacio over a 4-start period. He's got 44 now. This ball in the air, pretty well hit center field. And Charlie is going to see this leave the yard. A 2-run home run by David Peralta. His 27th of the year. I don't have to say it, do I?
It's good luck.
That's what it's been, I guess. First inning runs. Because the Rockies gave up a first inning run yesterday, they now have 42 come from behind victories this year. I guess they'll have to make it 43.
Peralta this year, career year for him, and now eclipses his most RBIs in a season. He's been so impressive. You think back to him being a former starting pitcher to where he's at now.
Well, you, me, and Dougie were having dinner tonight, and I posed the question. I said, if you could take a position player other than Paul Goldschmidt, because he would be #1 for everybody, who would be the position player you take off of Arizona after Goldschmidt? And it came down to 2 players pretty quickly, Peralta and A.J. Pollock. And there was heavy sentiment for David Peralta. 1-2. Tried to shave the outside corner with that fastball. 2-2. Just the 8th home run that Senzatella's given up in 68 innings. It's not an alarming number by any stretch.
But the last 15 1/3 or 2/3 of an inning, he's given up 5 home runs now.
Yeah, and that is alarming, and that's a walk right behind it. So Senzatella walks Goldschmidt. 3 straight have reached, and that'll bring up Pollock. It's almost like you want to pour beer and champagne if the Rockies retire the side in the first.
So strange.
I've never seen anything like it, and I mean that the Rockies are a really good team, which makes it even more strange. I mean, if you were looking at a team that was lousy and struggling and in transition with a bunch of young players, say, okay, a lot of young pitchers out there. Pitchers are young, but they're very talented. And the Rockies, as we all know, are a good team. So to see them struggle like they have in the first inning so consistently is...
Yeah, it's just strange.
It's strange.
I'll put a finger on it.
I said pour beer and champagne. It's the first time Doug's ears perked up in like 3 days.
He's like, where?
So where? When?
Right now?
This is in the air to Carr going right. That is the second out. It'll bring up the second baseman, Ketel Marte.
Second baseman #4, Ketel Marte.
Game number 144 tonight.
The Diamondbacks had stopped using Ketel Marte against right-handed pitchers. Marte is a switch hitter. He hits much better for the right side. 317 average on the season. He's about 202 against righties. So Torey Lovello has leaned on Daniel Descalso. Descalso not in the lineup tonight.
But that's a strange combination also. Usually if you're a switch hitter, the advantage is that you're good from the left side and you're going to face righties 2/3 of the time. and his numbers are completely flipped, which kind of goes against the whole idea of switch hitting.
Hey, you might be better off just hitting right-handed.
Yeah. Ball and a strike. Well, Senza's got to steal a page from his very close friend Herman and get through that first inning and then throw up a bunch of zeros after that. Told you many times, if you're looking for Herman or if you're looking for Antonio in the clubhouse or out and about, if you find one, you will find the other. That's a good pitch. That's a pitch that, and it's just a smidgen inside. That's a pitch that he's located pretty well up and in, and it's a tough pitch to get an umpire to call a strike on, apparently.
It really is. On the super mode, this pitch is working itself back towards home plate to get that strike. But it is a difficult pitch because most hitters will jump out of the way. And it's elevated, so you have to make a call. That's a difficult one.
Swung on and missed. The strikeout on the hook. That ends the first inning, but damage done. David Peralta, a 2-run home run to center. So the Rockies will start with a 2-0 deficit. As he warms up, here's the rest of the Rockies lineup, presented as it always is by Southwest Airlines. Well, between Blackman and LeMahieu, they have been on a holy tear on this homestand. They are combined 25 out of 56. That's pretty good. Nolan, David Dahl, Trevor Story in the middle. Cargo owns 5 home runs, as does Story against Zach Greinke. Then McMahon, Walters, and Senzatella, the lower third. Zach Greinke this year 13-9 and a very fine 3.08 ERA.
Well, Greinke will mix and match virtually every single one of his pitches at any count. Fastball only uses about 48% of the time. The curveball is an excellent secondary pitch. It gets a lot of strikeouts with it.
And this ball is launched to deep right, way back, and it is off the top of the wall. Blackman is second, a leadoff double. That's a good start.
Charlie's locked in.
You think? He's 7 out of his last 8. It's a good time of year to get locked in.
Looks like a four-seam fastball. He tries to go above Charlie's belt. And when you're locked in, you see the ball right out of his hand. Maybe a foot away from making this a 2-1 ball game.
So here's DJ. So the Rockies try to counterpunch. It's fouled off. And you'll notice with Greinke, like so many guys that have been firing baseballs for a long period of time, his greatness now is in his ability to pitch. It's always been there, but he used to go get 95, so the stuff and the heater in particular was above average. Now it's 89, 90. Not that dissimilar to what you're seeing with Clayton Kershaw. Bouncer to the right side. DJ moves Charlie, one out. Here's our Red Robin look at the defensive alignment for the Arizona Diamondbacks tonight. Here's John Jays, good outfielder, really good outfielder. He's in right. Pollock's a good outfielder in center. And behind the plate, we were discussing this earlier, Jeff Mathis catches when Zach Greinke pitches. And Greinke historically has always had a caddy.
11 straight seasons for Zach Greinke with 10 or more wins. That's impressive. Mathis has caught every single pitch of Zach Greinke this season. So
here's Nolan, 0 for 4 last night. He did drive in a run with a ground out. And a called strike. That's not one you want to fire at. Maybe even below the knees, right around the knees.
Defense back for Nolan, so they're not infield in. Conceding the run if you put the ball in play, as long as you get it past the pitcher. Charlie will score.
And sometimes getting it past Greinke is not easy. He's a wonderful fielder. I've seen him so many times in the past. You know, he's a great athlete. Not a good athlete. He is a great athlete. He's one of those guys, Spilly, whatever he focused his attention on athletically, he was going to be terrific at. One. Good take, 2-1. In fact, Greinke, when he was really young, was a phenomenal tennis player. And when he first signed and turned down a scholarship to go to Clemson, he was a shortstop / pitcher. He got rid of his fielding glove very quickly. But you get the point. This ball's hit well to left field. Going back is Peralta. It is off the wall. Kicks away from it. Charlie jogs home. Nolan cruises into second. 2-1. Here come the Rockies. That was a patient AB, wasn't it?
It was, because he stayed off of the better pitches for Greinke. They're so enticing because everything looks like it could be a strike. Supermo. This one is more middle, doesn't get quite inside underneath Nolan's hands, and Nolan's connected again.
Boy, that was a balanced swing, wasn't it?
It was perfect. Head down, that allows his bottom shoulder to really drive the barrel through the zone.
Well, a big AB here for David Dahl early in this baseball game. Boy, he hit the ball hard last night. Time for the Coors Light refreshing finish. Of all the balls he hit hard, this one was the most notable. Bases full of Rockies, and on a 3-2 delivery, a no-doubter to right. His first career grand slam. 10th home run on the season for David. That blew the roof off this place.
There is no roof on this place.
Oh, that's right. My bad. See, that's the point. It's gone. This is the first time Dahl has seen Greinke. Not literally, he's seen him, you know, when two teams play, but like where he's pitching and he's hitting.
They face it.
You're with me on that?
Yeah, face each other.
I got you. Just want to clarify.
I almost prefer it for the hitter who's never seen Zach Greinke, because it hasn't given Zach enough time to read a swing. very few pitchers, and I know there's several out there that are going to say, no, I read swings, Billy. But not a lot of pitchers read swings quite to the level of Zach Greinke. And if you talk to him about it, he knows exactly what the swing path looks like, what his pitches are effective to a swing type like that. We've pointed out with David Dahl, David handles the high fastball extremely well. And Greinke does like to go to the high fastball, so I wonder if that takes that pitch out.
He tried to do that to Charlie. He went down for quick strike, and then he tried to elevate that fastball, and Charlie was on top of it. 2-2. David last night was describing to Taylor that he felt like his timing was getting his foot down a little bit late earlier in that at bat, and he got on time and hit the grand slam. Game of constant adjustments. 3-2.
The way timing works for hitters, you want to be able to start your swing, at least have your foot land. You want that stride foot to land before you start the swing. Well, there's a natural timing. Everybody's different. Some guys have shorter timing, which means the ball can travel a little bit more.
3-2. And David hits it on the ground to second. Marte's there. Nolan will go to third. There are 2 outs, and that'll bring up a guy that has been a nemesis of Zach Greinke since he entered the big leagues and made a huge splash in game 1. Trevor Story. At the Dish, brought to you by Dish Network. Well, in his career, Trevor's hit a home run every dozen at bats against the Arizona Diamondbacks. For the Rockies, the only guy who's hit homers more frequently is Nolan against the Dodgers. And against Zach Greinke, Zach must feel like it's every third at bat that Trevor hits one out. 2 on opening day 2 years ago against Greinke. Strike 1.
Greinke just showed Trevor one of the few times I've seen that pitch is a cutter on the hip side. So a front door cutter right on right. That's one of the rare pitches I've seen Zach throw.
This is line to left. It'll tie up the game. And it's going to be the 3rd double of the inning. Trevor Story loves facing Zach Greinke, doesn't he? And we're back even. Didn't take long.
That's 100 RBIs now for Trevor Story. That's a milestone. Congratulations.
It's a big number.
Oh, there's some historical relevancy behind that hanging curveball. And he drives in RBI number 100. There's only been 35 shortstops in the history of the game to have a 100 RBI season.
He's truly, legitimately putting together an all-star campaign. All-star, excuse me, he's already been an all-star, an MVP campaign. 32 home runs, 100 driven in, an average just a few points from 300. He's got 25 stolen bases. He's played Gold Glove caliber defense. Cargo's another guy that's hit Greinke hard throughout his career. Cargo over 300 against him with 5 home runs. Go ahead and make it a huge inning, huh? 1 ball, 1 strike. So check this out. Only shortstops with 30 and 120 steals in the live ball era. A-Rod twice and Trevor Story. That's it.
It's amazing.
Put it in that context, it certainly is. Way outside. 2 balls and a strike. Again, Cargo's had the last 2 days off. 16 for 51 lifetime against Greinke. That's a .314 average. He's hit 5 home runs. Scuffled a bit against the Dodgers over the weekend, 0 for 8. swing. Strong hands. 3-1.
But Black talks about this often, about an offense. You can't always count on two guys. You're best off when you have 2, 3, 4 guys swinging the bat well. Well, now when you look at the Rockies lineup, you have 6 guys currently swinging the bat extremely well.
3-1. And this is pulled to first. Goldschmidt will feed Greinke. That'll end the inning. But the Rockies throw a big counter punch. A double by Blackman, a double by Nolan, a double by Trevor. We're tied at 2.
That guy right there, Nolan Arenado, will be the special man of the night all season long. We're celebrating 25 years of Rockies baseball by counting down the top 25. Nolan Arenado, number 3 on our list. He's been in the big league since 2013, and boy, do we know he can do things offensively and defensively. 5-time Gold Glove Award winner. Look at the hits, 951, 108 home runs, all to go along with 603 runs batted in. So join in on the conversation tonight using the hashtag ToyotaTop25, tweeting us at AT&T Sportsnet RM. True.
Yeah, it'll be fun to watch Nolan, number 3 on our top 25. I think by now you could probably figure out the next 2, right?
I like that, MLB. Bend the knee.
There's the 0-1.
Me too.
That's a little bit low. 1 ball, 1 strike on Nick Ahmed. Jeff Mathis, Zach Greinke, 7 through 9 for Arizona. They've gone to the bottom of the 8th in Cincinnati, and the Reds continue to lead the Dodgers. It's 3-1. Do you know that the Reds are unbeaten against LA this year? They're 5-0.
Isn't that amazing?
Baseball.
That's why you don't play it on paper.
No, it's not a math equation either. Good spot, 2-2. That's an interesting one. Who would Buddy be talking to there?
Ordering pizza.
And that breaking ball is up 3-2. Well, there's that late movement you were talking about on the fastball. That's some cut to it.
You see hitters in hitters counts, 3-1 counts, 2-0 counts, even a 3-2 count where you don't want to walk anybody to lead off the inning. Fastball counts, and they don't square it up.
He didn't square that up. 2 hops to Story, and he'll throw out his counterpart. 1 out in the second, and it'll bring up the catcher, Jeff Mathis.
Catcher number 2, Jeff Mathis.
You know, we're talking, you don't play this game on paper, and something that happened last night with the 10 runs, Rockies winning by 13 last night. They added 10 runs in the run differential, so they woke up this morning with a 0 on the run differential, winning by 11.
Yeah, and I look at that number this year, and I do think, you know, ordinarily, you know, your teams that are really good are going to have at this time of year, you know, be significantly on the plus side. But there's anomalies. We know the Rockies are a good team. You don't, by accident, play 143 games and are 15 over 500. But this year, they're even at this point.
Yeah.
Now, I'd like to say over the next 19 games, I like, you know, at the end of the 19, you'd like to see them plus like 25 or 30, right?
The Diamondbacks on the season are plus 70. But it's the win-loss record in one-run games. That's a huge separator.
Sliders off the plate, 2-2. Yeah, the Rockies have been great in close games, and in, you know, quote-unquote blowout games where you win or lose by 5 or more runs. It's happened to them, I think, 4 times more than the Rockies have produced. This is in the air to Cargo in deep right, and he's going to have to play this off the wall. He's going to hold Mathis to a single. He does that as well as anybody. He knows the park. He knows the caroms. He's got a tremendous arm. And it goes as a 370-foot single.
Mathis gets a pitch up, squares it up. And here's Cargo. He also understands who the runner is. Jeff Mathis, a journeyman catcher.
So here's Greinke at the plate with 1 out. The way he handles the bat, it's far from an automatic bunt. In fact, he's swinging here and he takes a strike. One more note on the run differential thing. There's been a team that won a World Series with a negative run differential. The '87 Twins, led by George Frazier.
That's a good stat. We're saying the last team that made it to, was it to win a division, was the Arizona Diamondbacks.
Double play
-7.
ball. Story takes it himself. So they gamble. The Diamondbacks do. Let Greinke swing away. Backfires. 6-3 double play. We'll go to the bottom of the second, tied at 2. Sportsnet is brought to you by the 2018 Toyota Tundra in your hometown Toyota stores. And by Southwest Airlines, low fares, no hidden fees, that's transparency. On a gorgeous Tuesday evening in the gorgeous city of Denver, the Rockies are tied with the Diamondbacks at 2. Drew Goodman, Ryan Spilborghs, Taylor McGregor, and in center field we celebrate another member of that 25th anniversary team. He's an active guy. He's been active tonight with a RBI double already. Nolan Arenado. Here in the bottom of the second, after the 2-run first for Colorado, it will be Ryan McMahon, Tony Walters, and Senzatella against Greinke.
So I'm looking at Zach Greinke year-by-year pitch percentage. And this might be interesting to you, Drew. When he first came into the big leagues, he was using his four-seam fastball 49% of the time. It's the highest he ever had in his career. We also noticed a dip in velocity. This season, it's his highest usage of his four-seam fastball in his career.
Interesting, huh? Well, one of the things, like I think all of the great ones, you can talk all you want about upper 90s velocity or a great secondary pitch. You still have to be able to have command of the fastball, and he does. He's able to spot just like that. He strikes out McMahon. That's his first strikeout of the evening. Again, last time the Rockies faced him in the desert a couple months ago, he struck out 13 in 8 innings. Bring up Walters. Boy, did Tony have a big night offensively yesterday. 3 line drive singles. When the Rockies score 7 or more, as they did last night, go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day. Do it between 4 and 6 in the evening. With Moss at Taco Bell. Some of the highlights from last night.
Well, he's in such a good place because he's not over swinging. He moved his hands up about 3 weeks ago to just give himself a chance to get the barrel through the zone a lot more efficiently, and it's worked. I know Dwayne Espy and Jeff Salazar, even Darren Everson, who just came into town, he's the Rockies hitting coordinator. He worked really hard with Tony. Part of this is confidence. There's only so much a coach can do. It requires the player to feel confident that they can get hits at the major league level. And over the last 2 weeks, I feel like Tony's confidence is the highest we've seen in a long time.
I don't think there's any question. The other thing is, guys take BP all the time inside, and then it's for more folks to see out on the field. His BP looks completely different the last month than it did earlier in the year. Would you concur?
Yeah, no doubt.
Breaking ball in the dirt. Tony strikes out. And that'll bring up Senzatella. Rockies looking for their 40th home win of the year. They have 40 wins out on the road. Including today, 19 games left. Ten at home. Again, including this one, 9 out on the road. Two strikes on Senza, and he hits this ball to third. Escobar across the diamond. A 1-2-3 second inning for Greinke. On to the third we go. The Rockies 2 and the Diamondbacks 2.
celebrate Nolan Arenado. We asked Bud Black the first time he saw Nolan and thought, wow, that could play. And it dates back to when he was still with the Padres. He went to the Arizona Fall League to scout some of the baby pods, and Mr. Arenado caught his eye.
And I remember he made a play, to his right down the line, and made the throw back to first base and got the guy out. And some of the people I were with, were talking about Nolan. So that was my first recollection of the greatness that was about to happen in the big leagues. So he's a really good player, man. Really good.
I would say really good indeed. Every single year he has been in the big leagues, he has won a Gold Glove, guys.
I think that trend will continue. You see the all-time fielding percentage, if you like fielding percentage, and he's 5th all-time, but it's more than that. It's how many baseballs he gets to. It's how sharp he is, knowing where to go with the baseball, and sometimes taking chances other third basemen would never take, cutting runs down at the plate instead of taking an easy out. Double plays he started on balls that nobody thinks you have a chance to turn to. Well, more good news for you. Not only the play of Nolan Arenado, but the Dodgers have lost again. It is a final in Cincinnati. Go Reds, 3-1 tonight. They're now 6-0 this year.
Reds are my second favorite team besides the Rocks.
Absolutely. They are this week. Here's a breaking ball, strike one on John Jay. Top of the order for Arizona. So the Reds 2 straight over the Dodgers in Cincinnati. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Think about that, Drew. The Reds are 6-0 on the season against the Dodgers. 6-0.
That's why last night we showed the graphic, because it's people need to see who the Rockies have the rest of the way and who the closest opponents do in Arizona and Los Angeles. But you can say, all right, this is the 3rd toughest schedule, this is the 4th easiest schedule. It doesn't matter. There's big leaguers on both sides, and we know this. Even though the Reds had a tough year, they're bringing up some young arms. We were watching that kid throw tonight.
Castillo.
Oh my goodness, right? Did he go? Nope. And then you have Iglesias in the 9th inning. He's no picnic, and that lineup can swing the bat.
Well, that's the beauty of baseball. Any given night, a team, regardless of the record, and the Reds are 56-83 against everybody else but the Dodgers. That team can beat anybody.
That's low, 3-2. For confidence, you want to see Senzatella have a strong inning here. Again, Jay, Escobar, Peralta. Peralta took him deep in the 1st inning. And he gets a strikeout. 1st out, 2nd strikeout.
That's what I'm talking about with Senzatella's fastball. He's effectively wild, and the ball has his natural cut. That pitch above the belt. John Jay doesn't typically strike out. He's in a bit of a funk at the plate. He's still a high contact rate hitter, and that one just blows right past him. Somebody figure out how to get Eduardo Escobar out.
Right now, Escobar could turn the bat the other direction, swing with the barrel, and use the handle. I mean, that's what the hits look like. He's 4 for 4 in this series, and good for him, but I don't remember him getting the thick part of the bat on the ball. His 1st inning base hit was a little blooper to center. Good swing, 2-1. The Rockies 7-3 their last 10. The Diamondbacks, the other side of the spectrum, just 2-8.
Drew, I was looking at the Diamondbacks the last 10 games.
Somebody's trying to call Torrey right now. It's Billy.
Tell him what?
I don't know. The form was flashing red. Swung on and missed. Another strikeout. What do you got?
So here's what's happened with the Diamondbacks. On August the 30th, they had a win against the Dodgers at Dodger Stadium. It was a great one. They went 3-1. Next day was heartbreak, August 31st. Diamondbacks were game and a half up on August 30th, lost the game the last day of August, basically sat in first place all of August. A game later, they lose again to the Dodgers. They lose again. In 3 days, they go to third place. The first time the entire season. They've not looked back since. Think about that. You've been in first place if you're the Diamondbacks for 123 days on the year. And in just a matter of 3 days, you go from first to third. And now it's 10 consecutive days in third place.
We talked about this yesterday. Their psyche, especially that bullpen, has to be pretty fragile. One strike on Peralta, who hit a ball with a man on over the center field wall in the first. This is line to left, and the catch made by Dahl. Those are always tricky, those sinking liners. It turns into a 1-2-3 inning, a couple of strikeouts to boot for Senzatella. Good play by David Dahl. It's brought to you by Subaru. Love it's what makes a Subaru a Subaru. By Dish Network, better TV for all. And by USAA. On this Patriot Day, USAA honors those who have served in all of our service members home and abroad. Charlie leading off, and this one he grounds to second. It's just the second out he has made in his last 9 at-bats as Senzatella and Tony Walters get together. One out, and that'll bring up LeMahieu. DJ hit a ball to the right side after the double by Blackman in the first to move Charlie to third. Nolan would double him home, and then after David Dahl grounded out, Trevor Story doubled home Nolan. 2-2. On the edge of the outside corner. 0-1.
I was asked earlier what happens as a ball player when you face somebody that you've seen so many times. There's 4 guys in the Rockies lineup that has faced Zach Greinke over 50 times in their career. Do you go and watch video? Do you watch his last start? Do you watch your at-bats against him? What's the trend? Do you know him by like the back of your hand? And the answer is, once you start getting to a certain amount of at-bats and you know what type of pitcher Zach Greinke is, there's no surprises here. You look for a pitch that you handle in your zone, and that's about it.
2-1. Let me ask you, do you like the fact that with this schedule that came out a bunch of years ago now, literally half your games are inside the division. There are some who adore it because, you know, you get to this time of year and you're playing your competition in a division race, and there are others who say it's too heavily weighted. This ball sharply hit, but there's Ahmed, who's a tremendous fielder. 2 outs. Get your answer in a moment, but we have to do a Nolan countdown. This is number 5 of some of his top moments. This is number 1, as in his first career home run, and he came not far from where he grew up, Southern California at Dodger Stadium.
I remember that. I was in Japan watching this game. I remember Nolan getting called up, seeing him. First ball game he ever played was in Arizona. And the next night, watching him hit a ball opposite field, you knew, it was like, this guy's something special.
Yep.
You drive a ball opposite field at Dodger Stadium, that takes some bat speed, that takes some whip.
He drove a ball to left off the very top of the wall to drive in Blackman in the first. 1 ball, 1 strike. So what's your thought on the schedule?
I would prefer a balanced schedule. I would much rather see baseball back to maybe a 32-team league, so you have even balanced leagues. I'm not a huge fan of the weighted play, but I also don't mind it when it comes down to September and you get series that can make or break the division.
The Rockies will be in the division. Obviously the rest of this series, and then the next 3 out west, same team: San Francisco, Los Angeles, Arizona. They're done with the Padres. And that one stinks. You hate when you make contact on a check swing. That's 7 in a row retired by Greinke. We're tied at 2 going to the 4th at Coors Field. Beautiful night.
Arenado, and counting down his top 5 moments in a Rockies uniform. We just showed you his first career home run, and how about this? A defensive play we see him do often, but I love this one. He throws out Chris Bryant, and when you really slow it down, you can see him barehanded and basically get it with his pinky. I mean, it's just insane. But what's even cooler about that is we see him make plays insanely this good all the time. It was almost hard to choose his top 5 moments because he seems to have a top 5 moment every single night, guys.
Remember the one where he was sitting on his butt in the middle of the dirt, fielded it, and threw from that position? Here's Trevor on the move. Perfect to McMahon. Goldschmidt retired.
You know you're good at defense when you look forward to watching a team play defense. When you look forward to seeing that guy go to his position. And that's when you know you're something special. Very rarely do you watch a Major League Baseball game and you're like, oh yes, I'm excited to watch them play defense. The Rockies defense, most people I think are excited to watch this infield play.
You have to be. If you enjoy this game, some of the subtleties and nuances of the game, It is an absolute treat and privilege to watch these guys in the infield do their thing night in and night out. And I can tell you this much, especially in the National League, because the American League doesn't see the National League teams vice versa as much. But if you asked National League managers, infield coaches, and you said, what is the best infield defense across the board in the National League? The Rockies, I'm guessing, would have more votes than any other team, and it may not even be close. And they have, again, that universal respect in the league. Good pitch, 2-1 on Pollock. You have two established perennial Gold Glovers, obviously Nolan and DJ, and Story, who's risen to that level. McMahon's at first tonight. Desmond has done better than a solid job at first.
Yep. I mean, every team has some great defensive players. Chicago Cubs, they have the highlight reel and Javi Baez. Houston has a great infield. Carlos Correa's been out. Jose Altuve's been out.
3-1 on Pollock. And that's lined toward the gap, right center field. Cargo. He's going to have to field this one off the wall. Pollock fell down. Throw towards second. Not going to get it. Pollock wiped out going around first. So 1 out double.
Second baseman number 4.
Nice swing by AJ, taking a fastball, shooting it the opposite field gap. Let's see where he trips. We've seen that a couple times in Major League Baseball. Those top of the bag it's been pretty slippery. A lot of these outfielders will wear the molded cleats, non-spikes, not the non-metal spikes. And if you're wearing plastic spikes, when you hit that bag, you can slide.
I've seen Sensatel do that a couple times. You look at the
Yep, he has the molded plastic spikes.
Sensa's dropped that curveball in to open up a count for a strike a couple times already tonight. 0-1 on Marte. Struck out Marte his first time. Ball to DJ. 2 outs. Pollock to third. It'll bring up the shortstop, Ahmed.
Rockies gift cards are a great gift for all Rockies fans. Gift cards can be redeemed for game tickets at Rockies dugout stores or for purchases of merchandise and concessions at Coors Field.
Want to know Rockies fielding percentage, Major League ranks at third base, they're third, second base, second, shortstop, third. That's all of baseball. Ground ball to the shortstop, Story. Great job by Senzatella. He's become a ground ball machine tonight. 2-2 going to the bottom of the fourth. Dahl, Story, Cargo coming. Marquez last night has settled in, gave up 2 in the first. He's been very good since then. And the Rockies will try to get after Zach Greinke again. They did so in the first inning with 3 doubles. David Dahl hit the ball sharply his first time up, but it was right at the second baseman, Ketel Marte. The Diamondbacks shift 3 against him on the right side. That's fouled off. Greinke has retired 7 in a row. Rockies in the midst of this 10-game homestand. They're 5-2 thus far.
This is a shift thanks to StatCast AI powered by AWS.
1-1 on David. 2-1. Here's the 2-1.
What's amazing about Zach Greinke's changeup, that was the last pitch he threw at 87 miles an hour, is that he throws it hard. It's not the typical 10-mile-an-hour variance because he likes the movement.
It is strange. It's really now off his fastball speed. It's like 2 or 3 miles an hour. That's it. That usually doesn't work out. That usually does work out. A curveball that snaps off the table like that. Good job by Dahl to keep the AB alive.
So I was pointing out earlier about the fastball four-seam usage, how it's now for Zach been the most since his first year in the majors. It's also the highest usage of changeup for him.
Three and 2. This is a great example of what Trevor Story was saying to me before the ball game around the batting cage that David's doing right now. From Jump Street, you're grinding out every at bat. Hyper focused this time of year. 3-2. And this again will be toward Marte. 1 out, and that'll bring up Trevor. Time for Built for Baseball, brought to you by T-Mobile. So Story doubled in the first inning to drive in a run. We didn't mention this, but that was his 40th double of the year. He's tied for the league lead in that department with Matt Carpenter and Nick Markakis. He becomes the first shortstop in Major League history to have a 30-homer, 40-double, 25 stolen base year. Never been done by any shortstop. And oh, by the way, throw in the fact that he's got more than 30 homers. A-Rod never did it. Miguel Tejada never did it. Cal Ripken, think any slugging shortstop you want. It's never happened. He hit the curveball the first time. That one came in even slower. Spit on the slider. It's 1-1.
So since we're talking about Trevor Story in this historic season he's having, here's a couple notes from Doug. Only 25 times in Major League history has a shortstop hit more than 32 home runs. So there's that one. Mentioned earlier, only 35 shortstops in history have had over 100 RBIs in a season. So there's that one. And I like this note from Doug. With his 3-home-run day versus the Giants earlier in the season, Story has more home runs versus San Francisco in his career than Arizona has in the first day of their career against the Giants.
It's an interesting one. 2 balls and a strike. And Phil Cousy says he went. Big swing, goes from 3-1 to 2-2.
Let
to sneak a fastball by him. That's the hardest pitch he's thrown all night, 93 miles an hour.
Let me say this Giants win again, so he can have it. Since Trevor Story began his career, he has more career home runs versus the Giants in that same time frame than the whole Diamondbacks team do against the Giants.
Amazing.
One player better than a team.
It's amazing also because of
Way
the
more
guys that
at-bats.
populate, way more at-bats, but the guys who populate that Diamondback lineup. I mean, Goldschmidt, Peralta, Pollock. There's your 66-mile-an-hour hook. It's hard to stay back that long.
Can't. Greinke wins this battle. 66-mile-an-hour curveball, the Subaru Supermo. I like Trevor's reaction. It was almost a bit of a smile. Okay.
Greinke getting locked in. 9 in a row set down. Cargo will try to interrupt that here. He grounded to second his first time up on a 3-1 pitch. Greinke did this his first time against Carlos. Was working him away. When you work away against Cargo, you work to his strength. Just a couple inches off the plate, called a strike, 1-1.
Cargo didn't like it. Second time through the lineup for Greinke. It's his best. 185 batting average against him. Third time through, he'll jump up to 262. So he does find his groove this second time through.
One and two. Slow curveball. So Greinke is on a roll now. He's got 4 strikeouts. He's got 3 straight 1-2-3 innings. Tied at 2.
Of Nolan Arenado. It is clear since 2013 that the fans of Colorado have fallen in love with Nolan Arenado, but he sat down with our own Jenny Kavnar and told us that that love is reciprocated.
Special place in my heart for sure, and sometimes I think that goes unnoticed, but I do want them to know how much they mean to me, and I really want to put on a show for them when I'm out there. I do think about them when I'm working, and I do think about them when I'm struggling and stuff like that. I want to put on a show for them, and I definitely think about them. And I know sometimes they probably don't think that, especially when there's times where I kind of just don't even wave or I'm minding my own business. But I do think about them all the time.
I love it. There you go, Nolan. Maybe you don't always know it, but he certainly does love Denver, and he loves Rockies fans, guys.
You gotta love Rockies fans. They've been so loyal, and they pour out in droves. Jeff Mathis fouls out to Ryan McMahon, out number 1 in the 5th inning for Antonio Senzatella, the native of Venezuela. And now it'll be Zach Greinke, who grounded into a double play, his first appearance.
I know in my household, my children have grown up to be huge Rocky fans. My daughter thinks David Dahl's the best. My son thinks Kyle Freeland and Noli are his favorite players in the world. And it's really cool to watch how your child gravitates towards a certain player or certain type of play. And then watching them mimic it in the backyard. My son's doing the Nolan back step with his swing. I never taught him that.
It's cool, isn't it?
It is cool.
1 strike on Greinke, one of the top hitting pitchers in the National League year in and year out. Well, you know, my oldest and my next oldest, they have Nolan posters up, but they also have Matt Holliday posters up with 20 and 18. So now Matty's back, but you know, it's that generation. We tried to reprimand Jacob, as you know, years ago when he was running around the house in a Spilborghs jersey.
That's when Helton gave him a Helton jersey. Even Helton couldn't stand it.
He couldn't stand it. He ripped the thing off. He didn't rip it off, but he made him cover it up with a Helton jersey. I love that story.
It's nice to have friends like that. 6 straight seasons for Zach Greinke as a 200 hitter, which is pretty amazing from a pitcher. Amazing seeing Helton's number up on the wall too.
As it should be. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Excuse me, 1 ball, 2 strikes on Greinke. 2-2 game. And he can run a little bit. He's going hard here. No panic from Senzatella. Tell you how good Greinke's been. He's one of 3 pitchers all time. We're using that phrase all time tonight a little bit, aren't we? Who has a Cy Young Award, Silver Slugger Award, and has also been a Gold Glover. The only 2. Can you name them? I'm going to give you a hint. We just recently saw both of them.
So Madison Bumgarner? No.
No, not Mad Bum. It's a good guess. Both are retired. I'll give you that much.
Okay, I was like, I don't know if they're current.
No, both are retired. But we've seen them both very recently.
Tom Glavine, one of them? We saw Tom Glavine in Atlanta.
No, that's a great guess, though. 1-0 on John Jay.
Oral Hershiser?
Oral Hershiser's 1.
Tell me, who's the other one?
Fernando
Valenzuela.
Fernando Valenzuela. Great inning from Senzatella. 1-2-3. 2-2 ball game.
question of the day. What is your favorite Nolan Arenado moment? Is it this tarp catch in San Francisco? The Father's Day walk-off cycle? Boy, that was pretty special. The barehanded catch we showed you earlier. He gets Chris Bryant out at Wrigley Field. That was last year. Or is it the first career home run against the Dodgers? I'm going to go with that Father's Day walk-off. I was watching it on TV. And just so special, and especially on Father's Day. I mean, anyone who loves baseball has memories of the game with their father, and so for him to do something of that significance on Father's Day, super, super special, guys.
Yeah, that's tough to beat. That is tough to beat. But I've never seen a catch like he made, you know, where the body got contorted. He runs full speed over the tarp, and then remember, he threw the ball at third. Had his own mindset to do that in the seat of his pants.
Tulo was at
third base
and missed it. Otherwise, he would have turned a double play.
How about a tie? Those two tie for first.
Those are two signature plays. They made a bobblehead for Nolan this year for that Father's Day game. But the image after the Father's Day game is Nolan yelling at the crowd, "Let's go," with blood coming out of the side of his eyeball. I'm going to go Father's Day with Taylor.
Yeah, the brim of Charlie's helmet in the celebration caught Nolan. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Walters, 1 out. 11 in a row. Set down by Greinke after the Rockies rocked him in the first inning for a couple of runs on 3 doubles. Pitches as he works here in the 5th. Greinke, like Kershaw, seemingly like all the great ones, he doesn't walk anybody. You have to beat him by swinging the bat.
Well, he's 3rd in the National League with home runs allowed with 27, but he has a whip, walk, hit, sprinting pitch near the bottom with 1.07. That's fantastic.
League average typically is right around 131. This is on the ground to short. 2 outs, and that'll bring up Senzatella.
Colorado Rockies Make an Impact program is a free elementary school assembly that entertains and shows students how to make an impact on their lives and communities. Visit Rockies.com/community for more information.
Senza takes a strike on a curveball. See where Charlie's standing now?
Yeah, Charlie's walking into the dugout now.
Yeah. Remember, he got hit on the brim of the helmet.
That was so scary.
Really scary. It was Senzatella too, wasn't it? I'm almost positive it was Senzatella who fouled that ball off. Greinke's rolling 5 strikeouts, and he has retired 13 in a row. But Senzatella's rolling also, retired at 2. that many of us will never forget. Baseball helping heal the nation after 9/11, and President Bush throwing a perfect strike at Yankee Stadium to a former Rocky, Greeny, Todd Green. He still works in baseball. Special assistant Bob Brentley's in the house tonight. Former manager of Arizona, longtime broadcaster, Chicago, and now back with the Diamondbacks. And I know that's a night that that BB will never forget. What a tremendous World Series. Luis Gonzalez winning it.
Oh, yeah. Just remember how important baseball was to me after the events on September 11th back in 2001. I remember driving on that day. The highways were empty. There were signs on overpasses.
Where were you again?
I was in San Diego at the time. I was visiting a friend of mine and was woken up to it. Never forget that day.
No one will ever forget it. It leaves an indelible mark on so many. I was reading a piece today, and this is how this tragedy, lives on, in that there are in the neighborhood evidently of 10,000 people that were either first responders or in the World Trade Center and escaped around Lower Manhattan at the time, that have suffered from cancer, passed from cancer, some various forms of cancer, and they think there's a direct correlation. All the
no question.
Toxic fumes is there. I mean, it has to be. Escobar, the Rockies are going to finally get him out. One gone. That'll bring up Peralta. Well, I was down in Arizona with the Rockies. And the thing I'm so thankful of, we had two boys at the time. Gabe wasn't born yet. That we were all together. And I remember later that day, just to do something, we went to a mall, and it was eerie because ran into some players on the Rockies, but the mall was open, but it was basically closed.
Yeah.
Most of the stores didn't open, and of course there was nothing in the air, very few people out on the roads.
It was crazy too, going back to that 2001 World Series. I remember a sense of pride that I had for either team. I was happy if the Yankees won it. I almost thought it would be fitting, but the way it ended up with the Arizona Diamondbacks being one of the first expansion teams to win a World Series against that Yankees team, because that would have been 4 straight World Series wins for that Yankees.
Well, it was a great story for Arizona, just their 4th year to win it all. That's a strike on Peralta. 2-run home run in the first. He lined out to left in the 3rd inning. So he's hit the ball hard twice. I've told you this before. You know me very well. My dad grew up literally 3 blocks from Yankee Stadium, but he was a New York Giant fan. He walked, over the bridge into Manhattan and went to the Polo Grounds. Hated the Yankees. His grandfather, who was a very good player, hated the Yankees growing up. It kind of gets passed on. So I grew up hating the Yankees. It's the only time, Spilly, that I actually pulled for the Yankees, just because, being a native New Yorker, I just thought that it would have meant so much. New York, along with D.C., obviously attacked, and the plane was hijacked and went down in Pennsylvania. But New York was attacked, and so it worked out. It worked out well. But that was the only time I was pulling for the Yankees. 2-2. Suns has really changed speeds well.
On the fastball, he's established it. He has better command of it. We talk about how it's such a difficult pitch for hitters to square up because of the late movement. And if he learns to really just find what that next secondary pitch is that he can consistently command.
This is a tough play, man. McMahon put on the brakes. I thought he was going to run himself into an in-between hop. Good job by Ryan. He's got soft hands. 3rd baseman by trade.
Well, McMahon has proven to Rockies fans that this guy can play. He can play defense. And when we talk about Nolan how you enjoy watching Nolan play defense, I think over time I'm going to learn to really appreciate watching Brian McMahon play some defense. That was a difficult play, made look easy.
I got 10 ground ball outs tonight for Antonio Senzatella. Paul Goldschmidt at the plate with 2 outs and nobody on. Just the way you want to see him if you have to see him. Great pitch, 0-2.
Well, the slider has been his most used secondary pitch. It's now 18 times he's thrown it on the evening. This one has a little bit of a dot. But because these hitters are respecting the fastball, just enough of a wrinkle to get Goldschmidt off of it.
96 on the outer edge. Goldschmidt, 6 straight All-Star games, more All-Star games than any other Diamondback. Puts the mark of Luis Gonzalez, who we were just talking about. He's actually one of 3 players in the big leagues to go to 6 straight All-Star games. The other 2, Mike Trout, and you never get this one, Spilly, Salvador Perez. Just missed. Senzatella's heading to the dugout, 1-2. He reached back on 97 there. He knows who's up.
Well, Senzatella is feeling a lot more confident with his pitches. Late run back towards the plate on the Subaru Super Mode. Tony tries to stick it.
Slider, 2-2. So Goldschmidt's the only National League player to go to 6 consecutive All-Star games, the last 6 All-Star games. Two.
Looks like my cousins are in town.
They're everywhere.
We got a lot of cousins in the audience. That's one of my former co-workers when I worked out at the Village Tavern. I told you I worked at the steak restaurant. Yeah, that's Wendy.
I thought that was your host family, your first 4 years in the big leagues.
That's Wendy. We worked together at the Village Tavern years and years ago. That's great. Yeah, she's a cousin.
2-2. This ball is well hit center field. Charlie's going back, and this one is going to short hop the fence, and a double with 2 outs for Goldschmidt. He is such a tough out.
I mean, he's incredible when he gets locked in. Senzatella really wanted that 1-2 pitch stuck on the corner. When Goldschmidt's locked in, he stays locked in. We said this number last night. It bears repeating. Paul Goldschmidt is the first player in the live ball era to increase his batting average to 300 or higher when he started off 200 bats into the season, hitting below 200.
He's at 300 again because he's 1 for 2 and a walk today. He started the day at 299. A.J. Pollock, a double in 2 trips. And this will be a tough play for Nolan. No play. Infield hit.
Nolan does his best to give chase to it. Knew he basically only had a barehanded play. And that takes supreme confidence in a fielder to be able to do a barehanded play, knowing that if that gets past you, the Diamondbacks have the lead.
So Senzatella will have to get Marte. He struck him out. Got him to hit a ground ball to DJ. Game tied at 2, top of 6. 2-out threat put together here by the Diamondbacks. Pulled down the line, fair ball. Cargo hustling to it. Pollock is going to get a green light. And the throw toward the plate's not going to get him. It's a 2-run triple. Double, single, triple, and it's 4-2 Arizona.
That's unfortunate for Senzatella. He was 1 strike away from getting out of this inning in 3 straight hits. Ketel Marte, who's hitting about 200 against right-handed pitchers, basically hits the 1 pitch that he can handle down and in. His 11th triple leads the National League.
Yeah, he started walking off the field. He thought he had Goldschmidt struck out. And then you get a mishit ground ball from Pollock, but it was in that, no man's land spot down the third base line, and he runs well. That ball was sharply hit down the first base line. Now the Rockies are behind 4-2. And you want to get into that bullpen, that Arizona bullpen that has been so shaky of late. The problem is Greinke, who's been on a roll, has a low pitch count. He has one of those pitch counts where you can easily see him, unless something changes, and hopefully it does, going 8 innings in that neighborhood. And shoot, the way the 9th innings worked lately for Luvello, they're going to be very careful before they take out Greinke. Nick Ahmed twice has hit it on the ground to Story. 4 runs, 7 hits for Arizona, 2 runs, just 3 hits for the Rockies. All 3 hits doubles. They all came in the first inning. The Rockies get some action in their bullpen. It's Jake McGee. Ahmed's had a great year against Colorado, as you saw on that graphic. 16 ribbies. Trying to prevent him from having a 17th, and now Antonio falls behind 3-0. They're going to go ahead and walk him and pitch to Mathis.
First 10,000 fans through the gates for the Rockies Diamondbacks game Thursday will receive a coupon for $1 Nathan's Famous Hot Dog.
Mathis a single, and he fouled out along the first base line. Well, this inning's turned around, hasn't it? 2 quick outs, 2 ground balls. And Goldschmidt, after being behind 0-2, ends up doubling.
Velocity is still there for Senzatella. Location is not. He's not thrown more than 100 pitches in a game this season. He's at 91 right now.
There's a strike.
It's amazing that's a strike.
Yeah, liberal strike zone on that one, fortunately.
The 1-2 to Goldschmidt was same location.
Yeah. I'd like to trade it right now if you could. Can we go back?
Nope.
Nibbling a little bit now. 2 balls and a strike on Jeff Mathis. Runners at first and third, 2 outs, 2 runs in for Arizona. Top of 6.
So I'm re-looking through the pitches that Senzatella has made over the last 3 batters, and I think at the end of tonight he's going to talk about a 0-0 changeup he threw to Ketel Marte. Give Ketel a chance to speed up his barrel, pull it right past Ryan McMahon.
And that is line foul. Two. Runner going. Stolen base for Ahmed. And it's 3-2 on Mathis. And be careful here, sort of. You have Greinke on deck again. By pitcher standards, a good hitting pitcher, but still not a position player.
7th stolen base on the season for the Diamondbacks.
Right field line heading toward the seats, foul. Rockies next inning will have the top of the order. It'll be the beginning of the 3rd time through the lineup against Greinke. Got it on a slider. But in the inning with 2 outs, Goldschmidt doubled. Infield hit for Pollock. Marte, a triple down the right field line. 4-2 Arizona. USAA honors those who have served in all of our service members at home and abroad. Nice ceremony today to honor 9/11. And we shall never forget.
We'll never forget. On behalf of the visiting Arizona Diamondbacks and the Colorado Rockies.
4-2, Arizona's taken a 2-run lead. The Rockies still plenty of time. Bottom of the 6th inning. Blackman doubled. in the bottom of the first and would come around to score on a Nolan Arenado double. Charlie's double clanked off the scoreboard only about, oh, probably 2 feet from going out.
Third time through, this is where batting average against Zach Greinke jumps up significantly, 262.
This is in the air to lefties. He played for Peralta. That's 14 straight retired by Greinke, and started to be reminiscent without the strikeouts of what he did down in Chase Field against Colorado a couple months ago. DJ, couple groundouts tonight. Well, congrats to the Red Sox. Here's a shocker. They become the first team to clinch a playoff spot. It's going to be dicey for them down the stretch.
I think they had that spot clinched sometime in July.
There's a strike. Well, today they won their 99th game. 99-46. The Yankees are way back, and they came into the day with 90 victories. They're getting beat up by Minnesota tonight, 10-1. You know who's had a great second half nobody talks about?
Tampa Bay Rays.
The Tampa Bay Rays. You talk about it on your radio show on MLB Radio, but Tampa Bay 79-64. And they need a telescope to see first place. They have the same record as the Rockies, but they're 18.5 back. It's kind of like last year in the NL West. Tampa's won 17 out of 21. 1-2 on DJ. 2-2. And the Dodgers lost again today, folks. If you're just able to join us, Cincinnati beat them 3-1. Cincinnati 6-0 this year against the Dodgers. So the Rockies trying to take advantage. You can go 2.5 and 4.5 with a come from behind victory. Greinke last year, after a rather mediocre at best first season in Arizona. Last year he went 17-7 with a 320. This is a high fly ball and right for Jay. 2 outs. Let's go to center field. Check in again with Taylor McGregor. Hey, Taylor.
Hey, guys. Time now for your usually held rock your routine. Down in spring training, some of the players having a lot of fun mimicking Nolan, the way he steps into the box. Check out that. His head to the ball. And then my favorite, Gerardo Barra, mimicking his feet. Kind of looks like some really bad dance moves. I think they should just let Nolan keep being Nolan. Let him do what he does. Parra, you keep doing what you do, making us all laugh, guys.
There's not a guy in that clubhouse, at least a position player, that doesn't have Nolan down to some degree. Cargo does a great Nolan.
Cargo's good at it. Cargo likes to pretend he's Nolan running. That's his favorite one to do.
Well, his other favorite one to do is Jake McGee running. That's the strike. 1-1. Right now the Rockies have to do their best hitter impersonation against Zach Greinke, because it has not happened since the first inning. Rockies' last base runner, the Story double in the first.
They have their hands full when you consider how good Greinke's pitched here at Coors Field. Kennedy at the top of the list, 3.16, and Tom Glavine. Greinke 4.20. That still seems high, but that is over a lot of starts, minimum 10 starts here, and he's been great. Maybe puts a little more perspective on how good Kyle Freeland has been at home.
Took the words out of my mouth, right? How good Chassin was at Coors Field. How good De La Rosa was at Coors Field. Got a bunch of Hall of Fame names on there, and the average ERA was a 4. I used to say this when you were playing, Spilly, when your club finally turned it around, the 07 team, and then of course 09, 010, good years. I always felt like if the Rockies' team ERA, there's a base hit, and Nolan is going to have a chance to get 2 out of this, and he will. Second double of the night for Nolan, 4th double, and finally a base runner for the Rockies after 15 straight were retired by Greinke.
Greinke goes for the high 4-seam underneath Nolan's hands, but Nolan's in a good spot now. Legs are under him. He's allowing his hands to work through the baseball, his head staying down like it typically does. Even though he gets jammed, breaks his bat, because his timing is down, because his body's underneath him, he can put his barrel in the zone so he can make solid contact on the pitch he can handle.
You see his 50th multi-hit game. So David Dahl, 2 ground balls to the right side, 2 outs, trying to bring home Nolan. Rockies trail by 2, bottom of 6.
Curious to see what kind of adjustment Dahl has made. It's been the changeup that has got him out.
This ball pulled, stay fair, it will. Nolan will come home. Dahl may get 3 out of this. Nope, he's going to stop at second, and that's the prudent move. You can't be close if you go for 3 there. There's already 2 outs, but Dahl comes through with 2 outs, and guess who's coming up?
There's multiple things that are great about this at bat. David Dahl, in his previous 2 at bats, made outs on 3-2 changeups. Greinke starts him off with the curveball. Just like Nolan, David's legs are underneath him. Not a lot of head movement, so he can pick up a bad pitch if it's in the zone. I even like how he went down to get it. Most important thing, watch him pick up Stu Cole. Stu Cole is not going to take a chance knowing that Trevor's coming up, and the numbers that Trevor has against Zach Greinke.
He's one of the best in the business. In a traffic cop at third base, Stu Cole. So David Dahl, boy, you gotta love his talent.
And so far the math is playing out. 3rd time through the lineup for the Rockies. 2 for 4.
The other thing you love, the resiliency. We say it about 4 or 5 times a week. Focus and resiliency of this club. They got one goal. They want to win the division. They want to be the last one standing at the end of October. Dream big dreams. They believe they can do it to a man in that clubhouse, and that's where it begins. Here's Trevor. Doubled in a run in the 1st. Struck out on a good battle, on a 66-mile-an-hour curveball on a 3-2 pitch in the 4th. Ball 1. Another Trevor moment.
This is where Cargo and the numbers that he has against Greinke, it becomes a little bit of a pick your poison. Want to go after Trevor? Go after Trevor. You walk Trevor, you're about to take on Cargo, who has good numbers against you.
Back up the middle, but it's right at Marte. That's all right. The Rockies get 1 back. Going to the 7th. It's a 1-run game. Big Dahl.
plays. This one's number 3 from the seat of his pants against the Philadelphia Phillies, and Austin Pettibone, the hitter at the time. This was ridiculous. Taking an angle, fielding a ball behind you, and then throwing somebody out. I remember guys talking the next day around the batting cage. They'd never seen a play like that. In all their years of watching defensive third basemen, they have never seen a play like that.
Yeah, he's made so many plays the last 5-6 years where everybody goes, haven't seen that one before. So the Rockies get a run back. Zach Greinke's going to lead it off here in the 7th. Jake McGee's now on the mound. John Jay, Eduardo Escobar to follow.
McGee had a nice outing a couple days ago against the Dodgers, worked an inning, had a strikeout. He's also been pitching very effectively his last 8 outings. 7 of those have been scoreless.
That ball's lined to left, and Dahl's going to have to field it on a hop. A base hit for Greinke.
Coors Field is a great place for group outings. Groups of 20 or more receive discounted pricing, scoreboard recognition, and more. Call for more information.
The bullpen's been solid in the month of September. Low 3 ERA. 3.06. The opposition hitting just 198. You don't like to give up a hit to a pitcher, though. So here's Jay. I love the message that Buddy sends almost on a daily basis. He does it with the media who gathers every day, and you know he does it privately inside the clubhouse. And the message is, we need everybody, as opposed to, you know, we got our best players have to be our best players. Yeah,
we get that.
You understand that. But when he says we need everybody, he's talking about guys that just got brought up, guys that maybe haven't been utilized out of the bullpen in high leverage situations, because he has seen it from a player standpoint, from a coaching standpoint, from a managerial standpoint, from a front office standpoint, what it takes to win in September. And it does take all hands on deck, truly. 0-2 on Jay.
As a fan, when you're listening to post-game players talking about the game, or maybe pre-game sound when the guys are sitting around talking about their team, pay attention. There's always key phrases, and we point them out when they say it. When you start hearing the players say, I believe in the 25 guys on the roster, we're playing for each other, I'm trusting the next guy behind me, that's when the team starts to play.
Boy, that is one heck of a block. I don't know how he did that. But Tony Walters saved 90 feet there.
And Subaru Supremo slider down and away, and he's almost like a goalie.
2 righties up in Darren Holmes' bullpen. Scott Oberg and Yency Almonte, who's moved up several seats, hasn't he?
Good velocity from Jake, 96 miles an hour, down and away.
Escobar on deck. 1 and 2 on Jay. Nobody out. 4-3 Arizona. Top of 7. Greinke's at first. No swing. 2-2. Not a big crowd, but a vocal crowd on this Tuesday night. 26,510. Greinke held up.
Jay's putting together a pretty good at bat now against Jake McGee, fouling off some very difficult pitches.
Jay's worked it full. 3 and 2.
Started off 0 and 2. Jake just hasn't been able to put him away quite yet.
You would think that you'd run your pitcher here. Not going. And this is in the air to Charlie. Shallow center. If he can get there, he will. Escobar flips around to the right side. Sitting 319 from the right side since he's come to the National League.
Looks like Buddy's going to go with Scott Oberg.
Part of the reason is you say, well, David Peralta's on deck. You go left on left there, but the splits for Jake are not dramatic where he dominates left-handers, at least this year. Sportsnet is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. So on this Tuesday night, the Rockies trailing 4-3, seventh inning. A man on, one out. Eduardo Escobar. Now we'll move around to the left side of the plate to face Scott Oberg. Oberg's been in a really good place. Basically a 4-to-1 strikeout to walk ratio. And that's a strike. Since he was recalled, remember he got sent out pretty early in the season. He was scuffling. Since his recall on May 28th, he has a 1.24 ERA, which is the lowest ERA among any reliever in the National League since that time span. There's one and double play. That a baby Scott Oberg gets a 4.63 from that Gold Glove infield. One-run game as we stretch at Coors Field.
The day that he did it all, he hit for the cycle, a triple, double, single, and then how about the home run? How about he does it in Grand Slam walk-off fashion? True Nolan Arenado moment. It was great for him, but one of my favorite things about this is a lot of players went on record saying that this is the moment they knew 2017 was going to be very special. It ended up being so as the team made the playoffs for the first time since 2009, guys.
Taylor, thank you. Right now, Nolan is going to watch as his buddy Carlos Gonzalez will lead it off in the seventh inning. 9 outs to work with. The Rockies got a run back with 2 outs in the sixth on back-to-back doubles by Nolan and David Dahl. Nolan 2 doubles tonight in 3 at-bats against the great Zach Greinke. Carr goes 0 for 2. Outside. Ground ball to second. He struck out on a curveball in the dirt. Rockies trying to produce their 43rd come-from-behind victory. Good eye from Carlos. 2-0. Rockies trying to even up the season series with Arizona. They trailed 7 games to 6. Adam Ottavino. And this is bounced to second.
Follow the race to the postseason on MLB.tv for $25.99. Watch every out-of-market regular season game, plus get a free subscription to MLB at Bat Premium. Visit MLB.tv to take advantage of this limited time offer.
Ryan McMahon got a start at first base today. Strikeout and a fly ball to center. Gerardo Parra is coming out in the on-deck circle to hit for Tony Walters.
That's bad for Cargo. Just had a pitch to hit. Greinke went the last 2 outings against the Dodgers and the Atlanta Braves and gave up 4 homers. I mentioned earlier, he's 3rd in the National League with home runs given up, 27. I wouldn't mind seeing McMahon run into one.
Nor would thousands here and thousands watching throughout the region. Here's the 0-1. There's the aforementioned Gerardo Parra. Started last night. And this is to Ahmed. Well, they're not going to waste Parra here with 2 outs and nobody on. Buddy's called him back. He may go for a big swing, guys. And Matt Holliday.
He might go for Holliday or Tapia. He's going to get Holliday.
If you're wondering, well, boy, has he been swinging the bat? I guarantee you he's up in the cage. So here comes the big man. Holliday has pretty good numbers against Greinke.
267 with 2 home runs. Just the introduction, get a little bit of momentum back on the Rockies side. You'd think something as simple as the announcement of a pinch hitter would change momentum. Well, it does.
Oh, it's akin to when the Rockies had your old buddy Jason Giambi. Ball 1 on Matt. He knows how to take a big at bat. We know that. Guy like Garrett Hampson getting his legs loose probably right now. It's fouled off.
Sometimes breaking your bat as a hitter, it's a good thing. You often have these special bats that have had big key hits. That might have been a bat that Holliday's had that key hit, a big home run off Kershaw. You get a chance to reset. Sometimes you put the pine tar on, you walk back up to the plate, and you take some of that adrenaline that forces you to swing at pitches you wouldn't normally swing at.
I know, talking to Tiny, Mike Pontarelli runs the Rockies home clubhouse. When the Rockies signed Holliday, he brought some of his own bats and they sent some to Grand Junction initially, but they also sent, this ball's well hit, right center field. Did he get it all? Off the very top of the fence, Holliday to second. Well, a few years ago it would have been tied. Matt will settle for a pinch double. And now he'll come out, and Garrett Hampson will run for him.
Off the bat, I thought this was a home run. Forcing fastball down, Holliday catches it with his new bat. I think Holliday thought he had it too.
Crowd thought he got it.
The second ball hit tonight, just feet away from being a home run. Right off that right field barrier.
Oh man.
My gosh.
That's inches. Wow. Well, when Matt wore a Rockies uniform in the past, that was a home run. And Parra pinch hitting. And Torey Lovullo is going baseball on AT&T Sportsnet is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. And by Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo customers get your 2-for-1 Rockies club level tickets by visiting wellsfargo.com/Rockies. So Zach Greinke has been replaced by Andrew Chafin. 93 pitches for Greinke. He goes 6 2/3. Holiday doubled off the very top of the wall. Hampson's going to run for him. Parra was announced. He was removed. And Chris Iannetta is going to take the at-bat. Of course, he's going to go in and catch anyhow. So he'll face his former teammate Andrew Chafin. And Chris has been swinging the bat very well.
And Chris, in those late inning metrics, is hitting .314, 11 RBIs, a .438 on base percentage. He's giving you that quality at bat late.
Chafin's last appearance 3 days ago against Atlanta did not go well. 0-1. He got one out. He gave up a couple runs on a couple hits. So walk to batter. This bullpen has really struggled for Arizona. Hampson smartly didn't try to move up. He's in scoring position already. Well, I just keep shaking my head. That ball off the bat. We've seen Matt hit the ball so far in that direction so many times. I thought he tied it up.
He did.
He thought he tied it up.
I think everybody here thought he tied it up. Even Zach Greinke.
Zach Greinke thought he tied it up. One. Another ball in the dirt.
There's that swing again on the Subaru Supermo. A four-seam fastball down. Holiday connects. And off the bat, right off the padding of the barrier. Very top. Last 9 games for this Arizona bullpen. 0-5 with an 8.33 ERA.
2-1. 3-1 Iannetta. With Charlie Blackmon on deck.
It's a bit of a pitch around at this point now when you get Iannetta in a hitter's count. 3-1. Chafin and Charlie have matched up many times.
Charlie's 6 for 22 against Chafin if it comes to that. 3-1 on Iannetta.
These are always tough as a hitter because the relief pitchers get throw his best, almost wipe out pitch in this count. If he gets a strike, he gets a strike. If he doesn't, he's fine with the walk.
Chris has never faced Chafin, but again he's caught him. 3-2. I'm looking at the positioning of John Jay in right field. John's pretty shallow for Chris, who hits the ball in that direction a fair amount and quite a bit of late. Tying run at second. Ball foul. But Chris isn't starting a tremendous amount right now, but he loves the ability to bring him off the bench for at-bats like these, because he knows he's going to get a quality at bat. And Chris, though he doesn't hit for high average, he walks a lot.
Yep.
And of course he has the ability to hit the ball out of the ballpark.
And he's been clutch of late.
He's been really clutch. 3-2 again. Ball 4. Great AB by number 22. And now they're 2 out for Charlie Blackmon, who's the hottest hitter in the Rockies lineup. Charlie, after his first inning double, was 7 for his previous 8. Frankie got him to ground out and fly out in his next 2 at-bats, but he is locked in. Hitting .288 this year against lefties. Above .300 in his career left on left. Here we go. Ball 1.
This is the beauty of September baseball. The crowd understands how important these at-bats are. 342 batting average for Charlie against the Diamondbacks. The best of all active players, but the crowd gets it.
Lefties actually hitting much better against Chapin than righties. Righties around 185, lefties 241.
Diamondbacks do have Brad Ziegler warming up, so if he gets to DJ, expect Ziegler to come in.
2-0, but conspicuous by his absence in this game is Archie Bradley. This has been Archie Bradley's portion of the game to go get 3 to 6 outs on the plus side for the last couple of years, and he's done it as well as just about anybody in baseball. But he has hit a rough patch.
Well, we know that Boxberger is no longer the Diamondbacks closer, so maybe Lovello's holding Bradley for a potential 9th inning save.
2-0. 3-0. With LeMahieu on deck. You have the clutch of the clutch coming up for the Rockies.
Archie Bradley's second half ERA is 8.2.
Wow. Charlie takes a strike, 3-1. Hampson again running for Holiday after Matt hit the double off the very, very top of the wall in right center field. And at a pinch hitting walked. 3-1 on Charlie Blackmon. Ball 4, and they're loaded up for LeMahieu. Torey Lovello in that lost spot. When you don't have a reliable arm right now in the bullpen, where to go, what to do. So the side armor, Brad Ziegler, will come in. basis. Look back. Well, Nolan Arenado, first inning, ripped a double that went off the top of the left field wall. Charlie, who had doubled, comes home. And then a hanging breaking ball and Story. Ooh, swings it well against Zach Greinke. Got the Rockies even at 2-2 in the first. Marte in a 2-2 game with 2 on, with triple with 2 outs. It was 4-2 at that point. And then the Rockies got a 2-out double from David Dahl. Nolan, who had doubled, cast the theme, comes home, 4-3. That's where we stand. The Rockies, all with 2 outs now, have loaded the bases. The former closer, Brad Ziegler, will come in and face DJ. DJ's 3 for 14 against him. And the first pitch misses, ball 1.
Ziegler, 38-year-old, he's been around the league now several times.
Second tour of duty, as he was a Marlin till the trade deadline on July 31st, and Arizona reacquired him. 1-0. 2-0.
Ziegler's an elite ground ball pitcher. 72% of the time he induces a ground ball, but he is not a high strikeout rate.
Arizona doesn't overshift the outfield. DJ taking the whole way, 2-1. If you could handpick a guy to take a big at bat, DJ be right near the top of that list. 2-1. Ground ball towards second, and Ziegler would get out of it. So the Rockies load the bases with 2 outs. We'll go to the 8th. Still a rundown of the Rockies.
Infamous tarp catch in San Francisco. He catches the ball, lands on the tarp, and then tries to throw the guy out at third. I mean, most people would die trying to make that catch. And not only does he make the catch, he then tries to get the guy at third. I mean, he's just an unbelievable defender. That's really all there is to say about it. I remember I was in college, and this was playing over and over on the national media, and I had so many people come up to me and say, "Did you see that kid, Nolan Arenado, make that catch?" It was amazing, and top highlight moment for him, guys.
Yeah, that 10 years from now, when we're doing the same thing, that still may be #1. The Rockies came oh so close to tying up the game, maybe going ahead in the bottom of the 7th. Adam Ottavino, top of 8. Peralta, Goldschmidt, Pollock. In the next few weeks, every game will be handled like it's a playoff game. Regular season, this is the regular season, but the first 4.5, 5 months, Ottavino probably not in the game here down a run.
Probably not. But this is a big portion of the lineup for the Diamondbacks. Rockies need to keep them at this score, 4-3.
There's a strike, 2-1. Peralta always seems to do damage against the Rockies, particularly here at Coors Field. He had a 2-run home run in the first against Senzatella. San Antonio was good innings 2 through 5, outstanding in fact. In the 6th, with 2 outs, he gave up a couple runs. 4 runs, 6 innings. 2-2, 7 hits, a couple walks. One of the walks was intentional. 4 strikeouts for Senzatella. He gave the Rockies a competitive effort against Zach Greinke, who gave up 2 in the first, and at one point retired 14 straight. And the Rockies were able to nick him for a run in the 6th inning. And chased him last inning.
Senzatella will look back at his outing. He'll be proud. Be that 6th inning, but I really think it comes down to one pitch. Poor pitch selection against Ketel Marte. It was a changeup that fell down right into his bat pad.
2-2 on Peralta. Iannetta behind the plate, and that slider's down and in. 3 balls, 2 strikes. Whoa, we were close. A leadoff walk. Goldschmidt will come up. Double. A walk and a ground ball to short. Here's the Kubota pitching performance. The comparison between Greinke and Senzatella. Antonio hung in there, and the Rockies finally got after Greinke enough that Torey Luvello had to remove him. Swung on and missed. Well, that had some giddy up on it. 95. Couldn't shave the corner.
Well, when Goldschmidt is at his best, there's not a lot of holes in his swing. Just so quiet at the plate. Teams often try to go down and away to him. That's where they try to expose him.
Pretty good at identifying that pitch. Stays off it a lot. That's clearly a strike. You get a little adrenaline in September, don't you? 93 becomes 95. 95 becomes 97. Peralta at first, good athlete. Diamondbacks ahead by a run, top of 8. One, 2 fouled off. Otto very mindful of Peralta because he has a delivery that takes time to get to the plate. That's why on the rare occasion there's a guy out there who can run against him. He gives up some stolen bases. One, 2.
These are all pretty high quality swings with 2 strikes. These are the matchups you love. Goldschmidt in a good spot against Adam Ottavino, who's been in a good spot all season. It's almost power versus power.
So many of these at bats with Paul Goldschmidt where he's behind early, 0-2, 1-2, and he slowly climbs his way back in. And of course, he draws a ton of walks. He's walked more than any player now in the history of the Diamondbacks. A couple days ago, he passed Luis Gonzalez in that category among on-base percentage leaders of active players. He's third behind Votto and Trout, outside 3 and 2. You start up Peralta.
There is swing and miss in Goldschmidt, but that was earlier in the season. When he's locked in, he's making contact.
That's a 356 over his last 85 games. Peralta's going. Swung on and missed. Throw to second. Safe. 1 out. Peralta to scoring position.
It's a great pitch for Ottavino. High slider. It almost worked as a backup slider. Have his good downward movement. It's just well located. DJ with the nice pick on the Subaru Supermo. I don't think it gets there in time.
Now you have A.J. Pollock. Double and a single. The single was an infield hit. He's kept that inning going, in which Arizona scored 2 runs in the 6th on the triple by Marte. Couple good breaks for Arizona in that inning. The non-called third strike on Goldschmidt on a borderline pitch, and then Pollock's infield hit. These 3 in the middle, man, they do the heavy lifting for Arizona. Peralta, Goldschmidt, Pollock. Ground ball to short. Hustle. Tell you what, Trevor almost took too much time. For some reason, he glanced really quickly at Peralta, who was crossing in front. But you got to remember who's going. And Pollock not only runs well, he runs hard.
And the Diamondbacks are going to challenge his play. Story was thinking of trying to throw back and get Peralta at third base. He's going to be safe on this, first and third.
Yeah, that looks like he is going to be safe, and Trevor's up there looking at it right now. You know, in that situation, I understand the idea, guy crossing in front, but you just got to get an out. You got to get the out, because then there's 2 outs, runner at third. And Ottavino has handled the toughest out so far. It's not to disrespect Marte, who has the biggest hit in the game so far.
It's not going to be an error. It's going to go down as a hit, but this will count towards Trevor, and Trevor knows this. This is a bit of a mental error. Inside, you're hoping that it gets ruled that it stands. It's too close to call. Safe.
That was pretty clear. He beat it. So it's first and third, 1 out. And now Marte at the plate. Well, 2 things always dictate how you run the bases, how you play defense. Scoreboard, and you have to know foot speed. Infield halfway, runner takes off, and the Rockies will let Pollock go. So now it's second and third. And now if you're Ottavino, you got to hunt a strikeout here. Two stolen bases in the inning. The Rockies bring the infield in. Marte has hurt the Rockies again. Base hit. This is going to drive in two more. He's got a 4 RBI ball game, and it's 6-3 Arizona.
Pretty much the least likely of characters tonight to carry the Diamondbacks offensively. Mentioned earlier, he's been supplanted by Daniel Descalso versus right-handed pitchers. He's responded tonight with the start.
And he'll be looking to run too.
No question.
Ahmed takes ball one.
Comes back to the leadoff walk to Peralta. It's considered a sloppy inning by the Rocky standards just because leadoff walks in the play from Trevor. Infield single.
Second career 4 RBI game for Marte. The other came 2 months ago against the Rockies. Ahmed stepping in the bucket, takes a strike. It's 1-1.
Almonte and Chris Russin starting to warm up, but he's not going to try to let Ottavino throw too many more pitches, so run the risk of not having him available tomorrow in another high leverage situation.
Yeah, and you know, the Rockies, well, for a second, think they're out of this game, even though they're down 3 now. They have 6 outs to work with. Popped up. McMahon not going to have a play. Rockies early in this game fully aware that the Dodgers lost to Cincinnati 3-1. There's the 1-2. Swung on and missed. 2 outs. Ahmed gone. That'll bring up Mathis. That's what the division looks like right now, including the Dodgers loss.
Archie Bradley starting to warm up in the Diamondbacks bullpen. Archie will come in for what looks like the 8th inning. Just in case they have to go to a pinch hitter.
They may piecemeal it. I mean, Jake Diekman's up also. He's kind of been uneven since they picked him up.
Sure. I think they probably let Brad Ziegler start the inning if Ottavino can get Mathis out.
Nolan coming up.
And then they can righty and lefty and righty it.
And Torey Luvello said that at the start of this series, that Boxberger wouldn't close, that he would mix and match, and based on who's warming up, that's what it looks like he's going to do. 1-1. Arizona's been a thorn in the side of the Rockies for a few years. They've not won the season series against the Diamondbacks since 2014. And this year, thus far, they trail 7-6. One of the biggest issues in their matchup with Arizona has been how they've played here. Earlier this year, they finally broke a 9-game home losing streak to the Diamondbacks. It's unthinkable. One, two, strike three. And the Rockies get 4 outs. But in the inning, Ketel Marte, a 2-run single. He's got a 4 RBI night. The Rockies down by 3, going to the bottom of the 8th.
Backs lead 6-3 as we go to the bottom of the 8th. Time now to flash forward to next week. Number 2 on our list, Larry Walker, outfielder with the Rocks of 95 to 2004, and he got it for power, for average, everything that he wanted. 334 average, 258 home runs, 848 runs batted in. He was a 1997 MVP in the National League, and he was fun to watch. I ask people often who the most talented player they've ever played with, and most people answer Larry Walker, guys.
Yeah, not a lot of people would argue with you about that. That's down low, 1-1, so the Rockies down by 3. Nolan leading off. Ziegler probably in, as Spilly said, to face one hitter, and that's Nolan. 6 outs to work with. Tuesday night Loto Magic. The pennant chase of 2018. One out. Bring up David Dahl. I'm looking at Torey Luvello, seeing if he's going to make a move.
They with a 3-run lead, and after watching how efficient Ziegler's been, you might as well keep the guy that's pitching well.
David Dahl with a base hit. Second hit of the night for David.
Now we'll see what happens.
You'll have to face one more because Story's coming up. He's a right-handed specialist now at this point in his career. For several years he was closing games for Arizona, back when he wore younger man's shoes.
He hasn't worn a younger man's shoes for several years. He's 38.
Inside corner, Story just kind of stares back and fielded cold breath. Looks like it caught part of the Subaru strike zone. 0-1. Trevor, bouncer to the middle of the diamond, and this is a double play. So now we'll go to the 9th inning with the Rockies trailing by 3.
Sullivan, Jenny Kavnar with you. 7 hits for the Rockies, 6 of them doubles, but not as productive as you would think. Zach Greinke still good.
Yeah, I think Zach Greinke showed why he's been one of the best in his career, because he didn't give him much to hit tonight.
No, but Antonio Sensatella went toe-to-toe with him, and he pitched well enough to keep the Rockies in the ball game. They've got an opportunity in the bottom of the ninth. Let's see if they can hold them in the top.
What's that smell? It's not Greeley.
It's a rally?
It's a rally!
I got it.
I like that. Guys, we'll send it back to you for the 9th, and we'll see you right after the Toyota postgame show.
All right, Jenny. That is exactly what we smell. That's Harrison Musgrave on the mound, trying to get the Rockies to the bottom of the ninth, still trailing by just 3 runs. 28th appearance for Musgrave. Christian Walker's going to pinch hit, and then the top of the order, Jay and Escobar scheduled. Arizona up 6-3. Good pitch, 0-1. Walker got to play yesterday when everybody got to play, Spilly. Everybody but you.
I begged too. I was asking Torey Lovullo to let me play. He said nope. I asked Bud to let me play. He said no way.
1-1. That's lined foul.
Looking at some box scores. Brandon Barnes back in the big leagues. Home run, Barnyard.
The Barnyard?
Yeah.
That is great news. What a good guy. He's persevered the last couple of years, hasn't he?
We love grinders. Those are our favorite guys.
That's right. Yeah, he's one of our all-time favorites.
One of our all-time favorites.
2-2 on Walker. Rockies have been out hit 10-7, and Cargo in right field will gather this in eventually. One out.
Bid on game worn autographed Marachis de Nuevo Mexico jerseys from top prospects Brendan Rodgers, Peter Lambert, Garrett Hampson, and Rockies legend Matt Holliday at MLBauctions.com/gallery.com.
Here's John Jay, 0 for 4 tonight. He pitches high, ball 1. So Barnyard playing for Cleveland. First major league game since July of 2016. On the ground, slowly hit. Story, 2 outs. The Rockies in the bottom of the 9th inning. We'll have Cargo, McMahon, and a pinch hitter. There's a couple of guys warming up in the Arizona bullpen. Neither one of them are Archie Bradley.
Yep.
This ball hit to a deep left field. And it's run down by Dahl. Escobar with a long fly ball. Turns into a 1-2-3 inning for Musgrave. So the Rockies need a big rally in the 9th. They are certainly capable. Tacos. Hope you hand out tacos with a 4-run rally here. Follow us at AT&T Sportsnet RM on Twitter to receive alerts for the Rockies Taco Special when the Rockies score 7 runs or more in a game. Jake Diekman, another one of those guys who was picked up midsummer by the Diamondbacks, is in to face Carlos Gonzalez. McMahon on deck. Cargo's seen Diekman, former Ranger, 8 times. He's 1 for 8 against him. And Cargo drives this ball to gap in left center field. This will be a nice start. A leadoff double. Good to see. Cargo 3 for his previous 30 at the plate. That ball was lathered.
Anytime you can put additional pressure on this Diamondbacks bullpen, and for Cargo, he's wasting no time. Diekman has a great arm, good slider, and he gets that pitch that he can handle out and up away from Cargo. Let's see if McMahon saw the approach. Diekman a bit of a crossfire.
This could be a problem. It will be. Base hit. First and third. Tying run coming up. Nobody out.
I just love it. This is heads up. This is taking a chance. This is putting pressure on the Diamondbacks defense. It's a great defense.
It's a winning type of play. Ryan McMahon showing us something we didn't know he had in his bag of tricks.
It's just perfect timing for it. It's a tough lefty matchup for a young rookie. He's never faced him before.
Ian Desmond is in the batter's box to pinch hit. Diekman's going to come out. The Rockies greet him with a double off the wall and a bunt single. 2 pitches, 2 on. So here we go. The Rockies with 2 on already. Nobody out, down by 3 in the 9th. And Arizona, whose bullpen, as Spilly so aptly put it earlier, has been leaking oil. Now it's Yoshi Hirano in. He does not have a major league save. He's got a ton over in Japan. Desmond at the plate, takes a strike right at the bottom of the zone. He's one of the few guys in that pen, Spilly. It's actually been pitching pretty well. Last 10 outings, he's not giving up a run, covering 8 innings. Time to change that.
He's basically a 2-pitch pitcher, forcing fastball with the split finger off of it. Great deception with his hand speed and how he sells that off-speed pitches.
Fouled off out of play.
To your point, Drew, it's one of the few guys that Lovullo has depended upon. He still has an ERA below 2.
And there's no parachute. This is Hirano's game now. There's nobody in that bullpen. They haven't got Bradley up again. And the Rockies got 3 big boys. They got Ian Desmond. They have Chris Iannetta. They have Charlie Blackmon. So many big hits for number 20 this year. Desi in the game yesterday. Single and a double and a walk, 2 for 3. Scored a couple runs. Fargo at third, McMahon at first. Almost threw that to the backstop. The fans in Arizona, we hold up. Nope, 1 out. Fans in Arizona are saying, oh no, here we go again.
Super mode. Desmond unable to check his swing. It's good. Split finger is so hard and difficult to pick up. You have to respect it so it throws you off his fastball. We always talk about revenge ABs. Strange when it's the guy that's returned to his home team, is the team he grew up with, against somebody he regained his footing in the big leagues with, and Chris Iannetta against the Diamondbacks.
Ienetta's second plate appearance, he walked as a pinch hitter in the 7th. That's when the Rockies loaded the bases with with 2 men out. LeMahieu against Ziegler would ground out to end that threat. Right field, drifting out of play. Blackmon on deck. Double by Gonzalez, bunt single by McMahon. 1 out after the strikeout by Desmond. 1 ball, 1 strike on Iannetta.
Virtually any result. Love to see a hit, walk, and live with the fly out. I just do not want to see a double play.
Boy, quality swing there on a pitch out over the plate. 2-2. Now you're getting that splitter count again.
Pretty much here on out, it's going to be splitter count for Hirano. That's fouled off on a fastball you can handle because you have to respect the split finger. It takes you a little bit longer to try to pick up, make sure you're reading spin.
Two. Strike 3. He crossed him up. He threw the fastball. 2 outs.
They want the pitch up. Mathis receives it down, and you're right. He was looking off speed pitch on the Subaru Supermo. He doesn't even fire on a pitch. That's okay. Give Charlie a chance.
Yep, Charlie's got a shot. Double in the first, 1 for 3 and a walk. The Rockies have 9 hits this evening. Amazingly, 7 of them are doubles. Strike one, McMahon will move up. Make sure they have the signal straight, and while they chat about the sequence of signs, we'll tell you who will start tomorrow. Patrick Corbin, the ace of the Diamondbacks, will go against John Gray. The Rockies will have another tough assignment.
Corbin's he has turned himself into an elite starter. That slider is virtually unhittable. Numbers 223 strikeouts already on the season.
1 strike on Charlie. 2 strikes. Just showed you that Charlie's hitting .221 with 2 strikes. You may say, well, boy, that's not very good. That's actually outstanding. League hits in the 170s with 2 strikes. So he's in the neighborhood of 50 points better than the league average. That's why he's a career .300 hitter. Trying to come through here. One and 2. For the umpteenth time, you all know nothing is easy in September. I guess maybe if you're with the Red Sox, it seems easy. But for most everybody else involved in a pennant race, go down to the final out most often late in the evening. Yesterday was a welcome breather. Charlie drives it to center. Pollock going back is there, and the Diamondbacks win game 2 of this 4-game set. The Rockies threaten a bit in the 9th, but they ultimately fall 6-3, so they lose an opportunity to pick up a full game on the Dodgers and a full game on Arizona. Instead, the division, at least from Arizona's perspective, will tighten up a bit. Greinke gets the win. He's 14-9. Sensatella takes the loss. He's 4-6. And for Yoshi Hirano, that's his 157th professional save. 156 in Japan. That's #1 here in North America. Once again, the final score: Arizona wins it tonight at Coors Field, 6-3. We go to center field. Check in with the gang for the post-game show. Jenny, it's all yours.
All right, Drew thinks, as Corey would say, you're still in first place. Yep. So there's the good news, right? What's the bad news?
Well, the bad news, you had an opportunity tonight. You just couldn't come away with a big hit when you needed it.
The good news is you didn't lose any ground.
Yes,
right?
That's the point.
That's the whole point.
That's what you just said.
Yeah,
we already determined the good news, okay?
Why are we talking about bad news?
We'll talk about all of it. We got you covered. The 200 post-game show is coming up next.